A good morning, and thank you. We are going to get right into the next match after a thrilling affair back and forth the whole way between France and Taiwan. Sends us straight into Singapore versus Thailand in this insane 14 UTC block of matches upon matches upon matches. So while we're getting switched over, just to list off here really quick, we have Singapore, Thailand here. We have Philippines, Denmark, Indonesia, Norway, China, Italy, all at the same time. It dooms 4 matches at the same time. We get Singapore versus Thailand. This is pretty crazy.
Yeah, everything is happening here, T1G. Everything is happening. I think out of all the matches going on, though, this is probably one of the ones that are the most well poised, I think, of the two, because these two match up really well. Even though Thailand are the newcomers, they haven't been in the bracket stage for a very, very long time. They have really shown us why they're here. They had an impressive victory over, the long-time team Mexico, who always make it through. It's going to be a stern challenge, but one I think they could be up for.
I was looking back over the matches for these two teams from last week, and of course, Singapore ran into United States, not a team you ever face, but had some solid scores, and I was really impressed by the Thailand result. The 5-1 over Mexico. You had, players like Phantasma, Chai Fook Chep, and I believe Salvatore, all looking really, really strong. And honestly, yeah, it's just a matchup where you have, I think, a couple of key players on both sides, and this match is balanced pretty much on a knife's edge. You have, Demonical, who's been absolutely showing out for Singapore, and then you have kind of these key few players for Thailand, and it just makes this really, really even. I struggled to find anything between these two teams looking over their past scores.
I think the case of Singapore, with them having so much experience in tournaments, you feel like in a tight situation like this, they might have the nous to see it through. But you mentioned it. Some of these Thailand players have been so impressive. Chai Fook Chep did so well, especially on some of those speed picks. Salvatore has been a revelation on low AR and reading maps, been really consistent. These key players are going to be really important if they can match the tougher maps we have now. That we won't know that until we see this match, though.
Yeah, it's very interesting because I felt that other than maps that were kind of picked into them, right, these teams didn't really favor all that much in the way of the kind of raw mechanics picks. You saw a couple of free mods come out from Singapore. You saw a hidden and a free mod, and the dense reading free mod come out from Thailand. So the contested maps to me feel like they're kind of the less standard maps, and when you go into this quarterfinals pool, you add an extra nomad, you add an extra mod pick in all the pools, you open up some more of those picks and make things even more interesting for teams that favor maps that aren't just this straightforward aim, straightforward speed.
I think the bans are matching that up, because all those bans, really from both sides, they seem to be respecting the gimmick side of things. Some of the gimmicky hard rocks are gone, free mod 4's gone, the alt style hidden is gone. So that's coming into it. But another map that really comes up when you're looking at these two teams so far is neither team like the stream maps. They have avoided this No Mod 2. And it's first pick from Thailand. So how does this one go right off the bat?
Yeah, I mean, you said it. Singapore banned Nomad 2 against Japan in round of 32. They banned Nomad 2 against the United States in round of 16. Thailand banned Nomad 2 round of 16 against Mexico. And now they're just first picking it. I have to assume they just feel that they're better on the tapping mechanics picks, because this is pretty difficult in that regard. The flow aim on this is tricky, to say the least. And the BPM went up a little bit. Right, you up to the 200 BPM, so it's a little more difficult for players to get stream capped. And I guess this is just Thailand saying, hey, we are stronger on tapping maps, which I almost feel like is debatable, because we just haven't seen a lot of them from these two teams.
Not a lot, especially from Singapore. We haven't seen too much from them here. You have the players to deal with it. I think on the whole, Thailand are pretty good as a 4 on these tapping maps. They have gone into DT a lot. So I think it's reasonable, this pick, if they're feeling confident. But there's not a lot of data to go off, and 200 BPM streams, you're looking straight at players like Demonical here. We've seen one player really run away with it on this map already. So really, we'll see how these star players are going to be shaping up.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to see Tebi, Demonical, Megamic, and GS Blank on the side of Singapore. Phantasma, Chorus, Chapukchep, and Kadama for Thailand. These are kind of core rosters for these teams. These are players that you're going to see a lot of throughout this match. They tend to rely a little less on their depth of roster and more on their main players. And we're going to see how this starts out. Thailand going right into a very heavy tapping mechanics, but also with a very, very difficult flow aim requirement, Nomad 2 here. And right off the bat, a couple of early breaks from Chorus and from Kadama.
Doesn't waste any time getting into these tricky flow aim patterns. A lot of the streams, especially in the first half, are shorter, but the aim shapes are very difficult at that 200 BPM.
Yeah, this is, I feel like, a map of like two halves, because the back half of this map kind of throws those continuous patterns at you where, it's almost like Control-C, Control-V type of rhythmic sense. Whereas the intro is a little bit shorter and a little bit flow aim heavier. And you can see that flow aim taking a toll as Demonical breaks several times, Phantasma breaks a couple of times. Saw an earlier break from Megamic. And this is going to be Thailand, looks like taking a little combo advantage, but not anymore. That did not go well.
There goes Tebi, 1FC to 1.
Yeah. GS Blank versus Kadama with matching backing combos on Phantasma and Demonical. But Kadama falls, and GS Blank is now the FC left, and that can really play a big role for Singapore here as we come towards the halfway mark.
A slightly easier pot here as well for GS Blank to use. It doesn't last very long though, so gotta be calm.
This is scary moments if GS Blank finds any break, but as long as he holds, Singapore feels pretty okay with this. They have a lot of combo, and there's nothing going for the Thailand side. I do feel one big concern, and you kind of touched on it for this match for Thailand going in, was Singapore just has more experience and arguably, I would say, has the higher skill cap as well. So with this pool taking a pretty big step up in difficulty, some of these maps that Thailand may have performed well in previous rounds are suddenly going to be a lot more difficult for them. And you're kind of seeing that happening here as they are having a lot of trouble comboing big portions of this pick.
Chapukchep has the nice act though, just some misaims costing him, but the rest of his team are definitely down compared to the Singaporean counterparts. It's a bit dicey here for Thailand. Singapore recovering very nicely, it has to be said.
Yeah, those early breaks are long by the wayside as they have several huge combos with Demonical, Megamic, and GS Blank all performing quite well. And coming into this near the end, it gets a 400k lead. This is going to be a very quick early break point here for the side of Singapore. And perhaps the tapping mechanics, a bit of a mispick from Thailand, or perhaps just the skill cap of this pool getting to them on that skill set. We'll see what happens. Obviously, it's only one map, but not a great showing for your first pick, which is typically something you want to be very confident in. It's going to be a 500k final score difference, and Singapore takes that 1-0 breakpoint lead.
The perfect start here for Singapore. Demonical going to finish with the top score here. Really nice recovery, 98.7. Very, very nice. But yeah, a bit of a mispick. Singapore were ready for that. I think Thailand still have a good chance on some of the more speed-focused picks, but this Nomad 2 did not work out at all. Chapukchep, nice score though.
Yeah, 591k is right up there, just shy of Demonical, but ahead of everyone else from Singapore. Just did not get the backing score that they would have needed, which is kind of something you did mention as the map was going on. So plenty of time left. Obviously, best of 11, long road to the finish line in a match like this. But it's going to be Singapore hopping straight into the DT pool. So perhaps they feel like they're the ones that can actually abuse some of the tapping maps. Whether or not that would have been a first pick without that big Nomad 2 breakpoint, harder to say. But going straight into 222 BPM tapping finger control heavy map.
It's basically Freedom Dive, right? 222 BPM.
We get Nakagawa Canon as a custom mapper.
Oh, yeah. Let's sign that up, man. This is more of a control-focused pick, though, I was about to get into, because even though it is quite quick, and the speed is there, you do need a bit of stamina for this. It's very gimmicky. Doubles, quads, kick sliders, weird stuff on AR 10.3. The SR is so low, it's almost equal to the AR rate hidden, so that tells you how gimmicky this is. But it is definitely on the faster side of gimmick, so just play into Thailand's speed team. But Singapore must be confident if they're going straight into this, and quickly too.
Yeah, that was an instant pick, so obviously something that they're very comfortable with. Yeah, finger control is a skill set that I feel we haven't really seen a whole ton of in pools as of yet. This is, I think, the biggest foray into that skill set so far in any of the pools. Especially at this BPM, and with it being, as you said, 10.3, that higher approach rate makes it a little more difficult reading-wise. So, yeah. A little bit of overlap as well with a map like a DT2 or something like that. So you can get a little information if you're Singapore for future picks. If you perform well in this, you can say, oh, well, maybe we pick something like the DT2 as a follow-up, because there are some certain commonalities despite they're 3 BPM apart, and they both have plenty of bursts and finger control required. But we'll see how it goes as we get in. Dawnwing joining the lobby for Singapore, and Ethi joining for Thailand. Looks like the only replacements in this map.
And in before as well, bought in for this.
Oh, so he is. Down at the bottom right. Down at the bottom right there. I apologize to in before. It's all the way out of sight, out of mind.
Honestly, one of the really interesting additions here, being so highly ranked, but not really being a tournament player at all. So far, though, has been coming in for a lot of the mechanics things, mostly as a fill. We'll see how he does, though.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised, it's a little bit interesting to watch top-ranked players who aren't tournament players if they try to get into tournaments. Because, anybody who's been around the community tournament scene might remember the Lifeline situation back in Konyo Cup, which is a draft tournament, where he was a top-ranked player and didn't get drafted until, the last division because he wasn't a tournament player, but his skill cap is so incredibly high that he was able to play everything just fine. And that's a similar situation that we see with Imbefore, where he's a really highly ranked player, which means his skill cap on paper should be incredibly high, but just doesn't play many tournaments, so you don't know what to expect going into matches, and he does find some breaks here and there that drive his stock down a little bit.
2 FCs to 1 in favour of Singapore here. Pick looking really good for him so far. Ethi with the break, no FCs left on Thailand, no combo really to speak of halfway into this.
Yeah, it's looking like a very good pick for Singapore. Demonical and Dawnwing are just having their way with Thailand. The accuracy may be a little low for Dawnwing at 96, but I mean, it's better than anyone on the side of Thailand except for Imbefore. Yeah, Singapore looking very, very happy with this pick, and this informs, I think, their future picks as well, where they win a Nomad 2, they win a DT4, and now they get all the information that they need for this skill set, I think, off of these 2 picks alone.
Just throw a wrench into some of the Thailand plans, I think. I was definitely looking at those DT picks being really competitive, but Singapore looking extremely strong. And honestly, this is a really good score from Singapore. Knocking 3.5 million on this almost. Very nicely done. Demonical stepping up.
That's such a good score from Demonical. 3.2 mil on a map like this, especially from a team in the losers bracket, which I feel like some of the main speed strength teams are still in winners. So to see a team like Singapore able to really show up on a skill set like this is pretty impressive. FC in a 966k with some reasonable backing scores from the other 2. So 2-0 consolidated breakpoint for Singapore. Now, if you're Thailand, you just lost Nomad 2 DT4. You have to go somewhere different, right?
I think that's the play. Need to mix it up a little bit here. get away from some of that speed, some of that tapping, where Singapore are looking really good. I think really Thailand could definitely dip into some of the reading side of the pool, because they've been very good on that so far, and a lot of that, actually all of that, is open. Gorilla Step and Nomad, both the low AR maps are open. Plenty to work with there.
Yeah, I would like to see, I think, a Nomad 5 or a Hidden 2 or even a Fremod 2 here. And it is going to be, or actually not a Fremod 2, sorry, it's Fremod 3. I keep getting confused because I'm used to Fremod 2 being the low approach rate Fremod, but here it's flipped with Fremod 3. So it's going to be Fremod 2, so they're going into more speed. I am kind of raising an eyebrow at that one personally.
Well, they're sticking to the guns. It has been good for them up to this point, even though Singapore do look good on it, so it does raise the question of, you know, if this doesn't work out and Singapore pop off again, you wonder why, but we know Thailand can do it. We've seen them do so well on these already. Chep's back in, of course. He has been so rock solid on these. I think they should be okay. But Singapore must be so ready for this now.
Yeah, last week, Fremod 2 was picked 11 times, so that's 22 total team scores on it. And Thailand, despite being the 27th seed, put up the 6th best score out of everyone, which is a really impressive mark to reach. So I do understand them wanting to go back to that same slot and that same skill set, perhaps thinking that the mods, you know, can help them out if they have players who are very comfortable in Hidden and Hard Rock on this map. I think if they were going to continue to pick into, you know, left-hand tapping focused skill sets, this was the pick to do it on. But whether or not that actually works out is something we'll have to wait and see.
I think in regards to this whole pool, though, this map is a bit of an equalizer. I think it's one of the more doable maps in the pool, especially if you have a good speed team. You know, it's mostly low spacing, 250 BPM speed, fast taps, but it's very manageable. Kind of reminds me of the one they had in round of 32, except a bit faster. Maybe even a bit lower on the aim side of things. And with them being so good on speed, it might be a good way to set themselves down if they can get a good result here. We'll see, though.
Yeah, this is light on the raw aim. Has a lot of the tapping as well as some slider aim, as you can see, those big full width nearly sliders, which is something you don't often see in speed maps, I feel, but they're playable, so it's fine. But you do see a bunch of breaks early on here. So we've had Yellow miss, we've had Chorus and Inbefore both breaking, and that is 3 FCs 2 in the early stages here for the side of Singapore. This map is just about 2.5 minutes long, so it's not a lengthy pick by any means. It's just going to be Singapore taking a small early lead that's going to grow a little bit more with Inbefore breaking. Overmodding on the Hard Rock, not really working out. You know, you could have Inbefore, your best skill cap player, maybe on Nomad doing a little better than he's doing on Hard Rock.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the overmod. I suppose it's the AR-10 reading preference. It hasn't worked though. Chorus and Inbefore are struggling. Still 3 rock solid combos on Singapore. Just Chep once again doing really well on these speed free mods, but it's really just him.
Yeah, he's been the one to do his job in all of these matches that they've played so far. He's been, I would say, their best performer in the first couple matches, and maybe so far in this one as well. But when the other team has 2 FCs and a decent backing combo, you're kind of just hoping for Thailand that something happens to the Demonical and Megamic FCs in the back quarter of this map.
Still going, still with great arc. Megamic and Demonical have both had great starts to this match.
Demonical on the 99.4 rack FC, and Chep breaks on the Buzz Slider. If it wasn't already over, it certainly is now. That's a brutal way to go out. But Singapore just looking so solid. I mean, what can you even do? It's just this double FC, and just Blank and Yellow on the mods are putting up very solid modded scores. they match the mods on Thailand, and they've got the double FC on the no mods, and I mean, Singapore just running away. We questioned the pick, and I think now it shows that that was a justified question to ask about this one, because that did not work out at all for Thailand.
No, it's playing into Singapore's strengths right now, or at least their strengths today. I do understand it. They are good at speed, but Singapore are so much better on speed today. That's 3 now they've taken. Thailand are going to have to rethink their next pick now. Singapore with the next pick in tow.
And this is just DT2. I mean, they don't even have to think about it. This was like the most obvious pick when they won DT4 as handily as they did. This was always going to be DT2. Yeah, and I hate to say it ahead of time. You never like to kind of pre-call a result, but I don't really see this going any differently than DT4 did.
Well, I mean, don't really want to go there, but I do think you're right, because Singapore have been better as a 4 so far. This map, again, it's more about the control, although it has a much higher stamina requirement. It's 225 BPM, very slightly faster than the DT4 we saw earlier, and lower AR, but it's full of doubles and full of bursts as well, so it's got that stamina edge as well as that finger control edge too.
This suits the strengths of Singapore as we've been seeing them through the first 3 maps of this match quite well, I would say. Thailand, and I will also say, like, Thailand, no time in between picks, right? Because it's just instant picks from Singapore. So you don't even get a second to kind of mentally regroup a little bit, because you're just tossed into the next map immediately. And that is not necessarily the greatest feeling when you just dropped your own pick twice in a row and neither of those picks were very close. So they have got to, I think, just regroup a little bit, regardless of how this map goes, which is maybe not great as we see a couple early breaks already. I think it's almost like tack time out after this map. Like, you're not even thinking about this map because you're already down by 100k and it's not even a quarter of the way in.
Yeah, no issues early on here from Singapore. Thailand still with 2 good FCs there. They can come back, but 4 FCs to 2 right now. Looking like the other maps so far. The accuracy is pretty good on Singapore, especially on Demonical and Yellow.
There is a big break for Megumik. Does fall off of one of those longer bursts. Ooh. So that will hurt that score lead a little bit for Singapore, but unfortunately for Thailand, Inbefore and Kadama both breaking. And we're going to come into about the halfway mark with, guess who, Chaifukchep holding the lone FC for Thailand as GS Blank finds the second break, and Demonical follows up for Singapore. Okay, this just got interesting.
Yeah, it's just Yellow. Accuracy is really good, but it's on his back right now. Chaifukchep can chase him down.
Okay, can I just say, shoutouts to this part of this map. This is so cool. I love this section with these triples. Everybody playing this as casually as you'd like as well. Chaifukchep and Chorus going to make me eat my words, I suppose, here. Thailand is going to make a run at this one.
What happened to the script? Someone ripped this up. Thailand are coming back. Chorus has recovered so well as well.
Rip this up for the better in the interest of competition in this match. Oh, but there's a big reset. Chaifukchep Kadama in before. Yellow and Megavik both break, but Demonical is still holding, and there goes Chorus, and that was the last hope for Thailand.
Oh man, that window was open though. But Chaifukchep and Chorus just choking at the end. Unfortunate, but it's Demonical again, gonna see it home. Just about. Man, there was a chance there. There was a chance there.
That went quite a bit closer than I think most would have expected based on the first few maps. 919k from Yellow, though, putting up that best score in the lobby, and backed by the solid near 700k from Demonical. Shoutouts, though, Chorus and Chaifukchep, 858k, 703k, very solid scores, but again, just the depth of the Singapore roster, that little bit stronger, and that's what it took for a 200k win.
Yeah, props to Yellow for holding his nerve there when he needed to. So finding a couple of dodgy breaks on that, putting him under pressure, but they saw it out. Thailand with the next pick. And, well, there isn't even any speed left unless you want to go into DT1, which is more about the aim.
I think you gotta go. You gotta go away from it, from like raw mechanics. Sorry, I can't. I'm stumbling here. You gotta go away from raw mechanics. Like, there's no way you stay in this skill set.
There we go. Now we're talking. 3-1-3.
I like that pick. Even if Thailand doesn't win this map, because this could be their last pick, even if they don't win, at least it's saying we're gonna try something different because what we've been doing isn't working. And this is about as different as it comes, swapping on over to the CS5 AR8, very old style, lower BPM pick.
Old style is the word. Symmetry everywhere, linear aim everywhere, grid snapping a lot of the time. It's got all that style. And when it comes to these maps, Thailand have been really impressive, especially Salvatore coming in.
This map even has a map skin.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it has like a 2008, 2009 era map skin when you download it, which, I mean, it's not relevant to the map itself, but it speaks to the style and it speaks to the aesthetic of this map.
Complete with old school 300 bursts and all the trimmings. It's great.
This is right up your alley, surely, right? Like, you are a big fan of these types of maps.
Oh, I'm all over this, dude. I'm all over this. This is super cool. It does have some spice to it, though. It's got some pretty tricky, like almost unbuffered buzz sliders about 2/3 in, which could cause players some issue. We've seen people deal with it well so far, but it is a bit of a tricky element you've got to be aware of, alongside all the old school mapping.
Let's see. We're going minimal mods on this one, which is, I think, the right way to go for most teams. You've got one Hard Rock, one Hidden per team. It's Minecrafter, GS Blank, and then Kadama Yellow. And Yellow, well, that's what happens when you try to play flow aim on low AR with Hidden. You fall off a stream and you just don't get back on it. And I think this map is going to be a lot different than the previous ones, because I think a lot of players are going to have a hard time holding combo on this one.
The first stream is real scary because it's a 1/3. So I'm not surprised to see a few people struggle there. It's the only real one in the map like that.
I think every other stream is 1/4, right? It's just that one that's the giant 1/3 stream that that goes across like the entire screen, as those old style streams kind of tended to do. But you can see the trouble that people are having even on the regular, 1/4 rhythm. It's still difficult when it's CS5 Air 8, either Hidden or no mod. Even Hard Rock, it's difficult. So who do we have here? What's our stock here? We've got Tebi on a 250 combo, very solid low AR no mod player. Megamic likewise, and those two are gonna kind of take a lead here for Singapore. It's just Phantasma and Minecrafter who are a couple hundred combo behind for Thailand.
Linear aim there for Minecrafter, and Salvatore dropped that FC a bit earlier, so really it's Phantasma against Tebi right now. Well, Phantasma and Kadama. So it is with Thailand again, just about.
That's gonna take the lead. Not for long, though. Kadama breaks just as that score was shifting over. It's gonna be traded a couple ways. This is
a bit
spooky.
chaotic now.
This is spooky.
What is going on? Phantasma and Tebi are trying to keep the madness together here. A lot of people struggling.
The gif of, like, the captain of the ship walking down the stairs as everything is exploding and there's smoke and bullets and bombshells all around him. That's basically Phantasma and Tebi right now on this map. It's everyone just breaking all over the place, but they were holding that whole time.
Dude, the cursor's going mad on those sliders. Oh my gosh.
Oh, man.
Oh, right. Now we're talking. Now this is gameplay, dude. Oh, Phantasma right after the break. Oh, no.
What's fortunate, though, is they do have combo on Salvatore, and that's going to take the lead over as Tebi breaks. Oh, Thailand might get on the board. Wait, it goes back. Oh, no, what is happening? Why? This has to go over with Salvatore's combo. Surely. Yeah,
it has to. 700 combos a lot. There we go. It is back with Thailand just about. Some of the chain breaks there, handing it over a bit more.
I don't want to speak too soon, but this is Thailand having their best chance here. They've got a 80k lead, and there's not combo on Singapore other than Megumik. Hey, they did it! Thailand are on the board.
There we go. Put him up there. Give him a point. Salvatore, take a bow. Nice play. A nice act too. Is there ace in the hole for these sorts of maps, and he's done it again. But Phantasma with the 600k as well. Really nice. Yes, this is the play. They got the roster for these sorts of maps. Just about, but that's all they need.
You'll take any pick you can get when you're down 4-0. Like, it doesn't matter how you win that point. You'll take it. And I think that might be a little bit, mentally job done for Thailand. Got a point, got on the board, didn't get swept. We'll have another pick as well after this one. So it's got to feel good, and they can relax just a little bit maybe after dropping those 4 points on the trot. But Singapore, again, wasting no time, heading straight back into the DT pool with DT1, which is the much aim-heavier of these DTs.
Yeah, all about the aim on this one. It does have that speed element very lightly, but the bursts are very short. Honestly, this is a pretty interesting pick for the double time aim map. There's a lot of pattern aim in this. A lot of irregular aim. Some symmetry as well. It's not your usual anime meta DT1. A little bit of edge to this. But it's still pretty much comfortable for anyone that's used to playing these sorts of maps, so should see a similar roster.
Yeah, there's some talking about the aim, there's some really cool aim patterns in this map for it being, a DT1. There's towards the end in the last Ki, there's one particular aim pattern that's this it's increasing and then decreasing aim spacing, and it just fits the song so well. I really appreciate what they did with this map. As a DT1, it isn't just a bland, straightforward, boring DT1 pick, which is really nice to see.
I agree. This is one of the most fun DT1s to play while I was preparing for this. I've played in quite a long time, actually. Really quite like it.
So as we get into this one, do you want to really quickly mention that our first match over on the other stream just ended. That was China versus Italy, with China taking the 6-0 sweep. They are going to go over to Indonesia versus Norway as an added match. So if you go !B stream, you can check out the secondary stream, or you can stay here, or you can watch both. You can do whatever you want, but we want you to have all the information for which matches you'd like to watch.
Switching back into this one, though, it's looking like Thailand are having a pretty good start here. 3 FCs to 1 now, so far so good here for Thailand.
Yeah, I mean, there was a reason that they were picking into speed and DT early on. I mean, it's not because they're bad at it. I think a little underperformance, a little skill cap maybe. They do find some breaks here in this middle section with Ethi and Chakukchep breaking. So we have Demonical single-handedly trying to hold off Chorus and In Before, who do have the double FC still. It's again looking good for Thailand here. Megumik, GS Blank, and Dawnwing all struggling.
Yeah, quite a few drops during that Ki there. In Before being that high skill cap player, this is exactly the sort of thing you want him in on. Really showing up now alongside Chorus.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at In Before's solo plays, this is the type of stuff that he excels on. This is how a lot of people at that rank got there, and he is no exception. He's exceptionally talented on these high approach rate, high aim DT picks. Man, oh man. There goes Demonical. That's the last FC for Singapore. We've got Thailand taking a second point.
Wow, we've got game on here, T1G. It's happening.
All of a sudden, this just got a little bit more interesting, and you'll love to see it. And there's FC closed out in before. It's taken him a few maps to really make an impact on this match, but he has done just that. And that score from Chorus as well, 932k. 4 misses, but, 950 out of 1100 combo, nothing to scoff at. That's 2 points now on back-to-back maps for Team Thailand, on very different maps as well.
They finally take one of those speed picks. They take one back, luring Singapore into a full sense of security, apparently, so that they can steal a break point and then get that momentum here. I like the strat. Oh, man. So they got next pick.
They just go instant hidden 2.
Yeah, they do.
No waiting. No thoughts. Hidden 2. You win free mod 3, you go hidden 2. This is the way.
It worked out last time. Sure, it was chaotic, but they have the individuals to do well on this. Salvatore is looking ready. I imagine we'll be getting him in for this. Oh, he's already there. He's already there. Kadama as well, maybe come back in for this. He played hidden on that free mod 3. And you have a pretty tidy roster for this aim-heavy hidden pick. Aim-heavy low AR hidden pick, I should say.
Yeah, this is, I believe, their fairly standard roster for this type of map, and it's served them well. I do think that Singapore has a fairly solid roster for the low AR hidden as well. No slouches at this skill set, certainly. But weirdly enough, I actually almost, the way this is going now over these last couple of picks, I almost like Thailand on this one a little more. It is their pick, but even still, I don't know. Kind of nice to see them making a run at it and having a roster that feels like it's very strong at this low AR aimy hidden pick. We go 3 in a row? Why not, right? Just go maximum chaos.
This is the sort of pick to really spill that chaos, though. Something to make you a little bit uncomfortable. Seeing Eagle come in for this is a really good pickup for Singapore. For this sort of map, he's going to be well poised. How did the 4 match up, given the current performances? I'd give the edge to Thailand, but the way this game's been going, kind of hard to call that.
Yeah, it's like, well, they won free mod 2, but this match is just back and forth as it can get, so you don't want to make any assumptions too early. Though Thailand does suffer the couple of early breaks, Phantasma and Kadama both falling in the first 100 combo. It's not going to be the end of the world. It's 3 minutes long, and there's plenty of combo to be built up. But it will be Singapore who get to have that lead to hang on to as long as they can, as Chai Pukchep falls as well. Oh boy. Okay.
Well, it's 4v1 right now. It's early days, but
it is.
Early on, it's just Salvatore finding the comfort. Tebi, the first break for Singapore. They still got 3.
They just need to concentrate all of their misses onto Tebi, though, for Singapore. Everyone else can hold, and they'll be in a fine place. Salvatore doing what he can to keep this, in reaching distance, but Kadama and Chai Pukchep break again, and you still only have the 1 miss on Tebi so far for Singapore. Oh, again, not what you want to see here for Thailand. Yellow does fall, but it's a 300k lead, and we're barely reaching halfway through, and it's still a double FC on Dawnwing and Eagle.
Kadama is struggling. Chai Pukchep struggling as well. Yeah, listen, that's looking like, as a 4, Singapore looking much better. Dawnwing doing well. Eagle, he's in for this, and he's showing it. And there goes Salvatore. Well, that's not good for Thailand.
No, that might just seal the fate of Thailand on this map. It's a double FC on Dawnwing and Eagle, and the highest combo is 500 on Phantasma for Thailand. Chai Pukchep and Kadama both having a very rough go of things. Don't really know that there's a way back into this one anymore for the Thai side. Though there go both Dawnwing and Eagle while Phantasma hold, so that gap will shut just a tiny bit, but I just don't think there's time left at this point.
Not to make up that distance. You really need an FC to make that happen. Sure, I can get a bit closer, but it's going to be too little too late, surely, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's 500,000 points with just the outro. It's going to be a very nice score from Phantasma as well as Salvatore for Thailand. But those scores on Dawnwing and Eagle are right up there. And the backing scores just too strong. Unfortunately, Chaipukchep and Kadama not having the best go of things. And Thailand drops their pick. Singapore now has the 5-2 lead. Multiple match points in their back pocket and their own pick to come. Not looking good here for Thailand. They made that little 2-point run, but Singapore remembered that they are the higher seed. They are the favored team, and now they've got several chances to close this out in advance.
Yeah, Dawnwing and Eagle making sure there was no doubt on that one. The 1 miss and the 2 miss, really nicely done by them. Next pick is going to be a bit different from Singapore. All the speed is truly exhausted now. And, well, just keep going into some of those gimmick maps. That's quite contested between these two. Or are they going to challenge them on some of those mechanics picks, which are looking pretty right there?
Well, we haven't seen any... We saw DT1. That's the only aim pick we've seen. We haven't seen any of the other aim, and it looks like we're not going to see more. Now we're sticking away from the raw mechanics, and it's going to be Nomad 3, which... this is a nasty little Nomad 3 by Moff, I tell you what. It is hard.
Yeah, this has got some spice to it. The Moff Nomad 3 Classic. Of course, it's an ult map. You got some flow aim ult, you got some snap aim ult. You got some pretty high SVs in this. And also plenty of 1/6s as well. There is a very minor element of speed, but it's a minor element. Plenty of finger control and high tempo Moff style ult. It's tricky. It's tricky.
You know, I will say, talking about the speed element, there is the like guitar solo section kind of in the last third of the map that hits you pretty hard with the speed requirement. It's only one section, so it's not like it's a speed map, air quotes speed map, but that one section does hit you pretty noticeably. If you're not ready for some tapping requirement, it can get you. But yeah, for the most part, just a really consistent, kind of unrelenting high tempo, to use your words, high tempo alt that I think Moff is just really well known for and really good at executing, generally speaking. We're going to go into it. We've got Tebi, Mega Demonical Eagle for Singapore trying to close it out. Phantasma, Salvatore, Kadama, and Chaipukchep outside of Thailand as several breaks on that big flow aim alt pattern at the beginning. But they're trying to stave off elimination, or at least one more map, are the Thailand players. But I don't know how well it's going to go. There again, that bottom row, Kadama and Chaipukchep struggling a little bit in this intro.
See if they can adjust to the style. They're going to have to be quick on it. Demonical does follow up right at the end of that intro. The 3 FCs to 2, looking pretty good here for Singapore.
Note is that this is quite a long map, right? 3 minutes and 40 seconds. So you've got time to kind of settle into it as long as you don't fall too far behind too fast. But if you keep breaking like Thailand is doing, you don't really get that opportunity. This is... Well, it was looking rough, but there's a break from Megumix, so that's going to help things out just a little bit for Thailand. But Tebi Eagle still on the FC, and Demonical on a solid backing combo. Just Salvatore on the FC for Thailand. Into the first Ki we're going to go. Oh, well. No Megumix, no Eagle.
No lead for Singapore if it stays the way it is. Thailand are going to slowly reel them in. Very slowly, though. This Ki is tricky. Salvatore has to hold. There goes Tebi. It really is with Thailand now.
They're doing a very impressive job of recovering combo, but Kadama and Salvatore both fall on the big flow pattern. There goes Chai-Fu-Chep following up. Those big space, like, flow aim patterns might be the hardest thing in this. Most players very comfortable with the kind of snappy aim, but a little less so with the flow. And here's that little speed section. Everybody gets through it just fine, except for Megamic breaking right after. And it is now... Well, we're going to wait until we come out of this. Let's see.
Phantasma is gone.
Phantasma's gone. Salvatore's gone. Chai-Fu-Chep, Megamic, and Tebi. Demonical and Eagle both held through that entire section against just Kadama for Thailand, and that's going to start to play the death knell of Thailand here in this match.
A bit of free combo, relatively speaking, as well. And Singapore just need a little bit here to see this home, surely. Demonical again. Ever so reliable here for Singapore.
He has been the linchpin to their success in this tournament, and it's looking like that's going to continue. Does find a break in this last Ki, but his job has been done here. I think this lead is 300k, and there's just not a lot of time left. Kadama and Salvatore have some combo. I believe Tebi and Eagle are fine to hold it off. 300k is just a lot in this last few seconds of the map.
Oh, a break right at the end for Demonical. 500k, that'll do for him. And that's going to do for Singapore. Tebi bringing it back, one of their key tournament players, contributing very nicely. And that's going to be the show. Singapore move on, and looked in control pretty much the entirety of this one, you have to say. Looked really good value for their win here.
Yeah, the couple of dropped points on... in the middle there. But other than that, really never felt in doubt. Really was always a match that Singapore were in the lead. Stronger on paper, and stronger in practice as well. 6-2, their final score, final margin of victory. And they will move onward into the next round here in losers. Their reward is France, the winners over Taiwan a little bit ago. That is going to be a very tough match for both of those teams, so we'll be looking forward to that one. Singapore, though, gets some time to rest and recuperate after that match. They'll be able to get ready to go for tomorrow against France. But what more can you say about this one other than just job well done, I think, to Singapore?
Yeah, very well played. Spare a thought, though, for Team Thailand, who have been really impressive in their first tournament in so many years. A big win against Mexico, good performances, taking maps off every single opponent, including Australia. So, welcome back, Thailand. A great campaign for your first one back. Hope to see you next year.